Good morning. The labor minister says the first quarter jobs report does not reflect the current state of the labor market. The Valley Boys, world famous ones, slamming the youth, sports, and culture minister. And residents in the Southeast Bahamas warned to be on alert with what's happening in the tropics. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, September 25th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strawn. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning in our Better You series, we're talking about etiquette and habits as it relates to WhatsApp. Prominent form of communication in the country. We're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts. And later in business, we continue our look at the Davis administration's first 4 years and comparing it to their promises in Our Blueprint for Change. We'll get through the rest of that document today. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Minister of Labor and Public Service Pia Glover said the results of the latest labor force survey, which indicate that unemployment increased to 10.8%, are not an accurate representation of the current state of the labor market. She said the survey, which was conducted between January and March, reflects cyclical contractions within the labor market due to seasonal layoffs, as well as broader trends in the construction and tourism industries. Glover says that the labor force participation increased from 74.8% in late 2024 to 76% in early 2025, with more people actively seeking work. After the world-famous Valley Boys denied seed funding from the government for the upcoming Junkanoo parades, its chairman, Brian Adderley, pushing back against what he says is the government's unfair decision and inaccurate remarks made by Youth, Sports, and Culture Minister Mario Boleg. At a seed funding presentation last week, Boleg said the decision to withhold funding from the Way Forward, from the world-famous Valley Boys, while providing funds to the Way Forward Valley Boys, led by Trevor Davis, was based on a March 2025 court ruling. Tuesday night, the world-famous leader expressed outrage at Boleg's claims, arguing that his comments could deter potential sponsorships and donations from the upcoming parades. Adderley saying, quote, "There's only one Valley Boys, and as you can see, they are present here today," while at that press conference on Tuesday night. Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Floyd Moxey says the force is committed to tackling poaching and noted the Great Bahama Bank remains an area of concern. Most recently under Operation Red Dawn 2, a multi-agency marine law enforcement initiative, 3 people were arrested following the seizure of an illegal foreign vessel in the Berry Islands. Moxie saying that they have illegal fishing from fishermen out of the North American region, and they're focusing on that in the northern Bahamas as well. And a woman testifying how she was gang raped by 2 men and fondled by a third man when she was just 14 years old. The alleged victim, now 21, telling jurors the defendant, Cleveland McPhee, whom she called CJ, was one of the rapists. McPhee, who was on bail, has denied these allegations at his trial before Justice Janine Weish Gomez. The young woman recalled that around 10 p.m. on June 25th, 2018, she left her New Providence home to go to the store. As she was walking, it began to rain, and she says that she sought shelter in a building that was under construction. The witness said that the accused and 4 others, whom she recognized by face, came across the street and forced her into the storage room of the building. She said she tried to fight them off. She bit one of the men, who in response bit her on the shoulder. You can read more about it in today's Nassau Guardian. And the Disaster Risk Management Authority advising residents in the southeast Bahamas to begin preparations for a possible tropical storm, as meteorologists warned that a tropical wave east of the Caribbean is likely to develop. In a statement, the DRMA is saying that residents in Anagua, Mayaguana, Acklins, Crooked Island, Long Key, Ragged Island, and the Turks and Caicos are urged to begin preparations for possible tropical storm or tropical depression conditions. We'll have more on that system in just a moment. Overseas, at least 17 people have been killed in Israeli attacks in the Gaza Strip today, according to local health officials, as international pressure for a ceasefire continues to grow. On the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, French President Emmanuel Macron telling France 24 his country had recognized a Palestinian state on the conviction that, quote, it is the only way to isolate Hamas, which has proved itself able to regenerate even after many of its leaders have been killed. Macron saying in the interview Wednesday, quote, total war with Gaza is causing civilian casualties but can't bring about the end of Hamas. Factually, it's a failure. He said he had been lobbying U.S. President Donald Trump to press Israel again for a ceasefire, telling him, quote, you have an important role to play. You who supports peace, you want to bring peace to the world. You cannot stop the war. There's no path to peace. Meanwhile, in the Gaza Strip today, 12 people killed in an Israeli attack on the central town of Zawaida that hit a tent in a house, according to the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital. 8 children were among the victims, according to the hospital, and family members say another girl was still under the rubble. And a weakened tropical cyclone Ragasa pushing west along the southern Chinese coast towards Vietnam today after flooding streets and homes in the economic hub of the Guangdong province, causing deaths in Taiwan and the Philippines earlier in the week. In the city of Yangyang, over 10,000 trees were damaged and branches floated in submerged streets. Crews used excavators to clear toppled trees and worked to clear roads. Nearly 500,000 households suffered power outages, and more than a third of those homes remained without electricity. Streets in the city of Shuhua turning into rivers, and rescuers using inflatable boats to rescue stranded residents. Water inundated the ground floors of homes in older neighborhoods. Communication with people in some islands off the coast were cut off, and schools and businesses closed and tourism activities halted in some cities. In sports, the Bahamas Youth Flag Football League completing its final week of training. on the fields opposite the original Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium. The Youth League season opened earlier this month in both New Providence and Abaco. Over the last 4 weeks, coordinators and coaches have been teaching both seasoned players and newcomers the fundamental of youth flag football. You'll read all about that in today's Guardian Sports section. The Bahamas Baseball Association excited to announce its under-23 national baseball team competing in the upcoming Central and North American Baseball Confederation and Caribbean Baseball Confederation under-23 Pan American qualifiers in Panama, September 28th through October 4th. The qualifier, governed by the WBSC Americas, will provide 3 spots for the 2026 World Baseball Softball Confederation Under-23 Baseball World Cup in Nicaragua. Read about who's on the team in today's Guardian Sports section. And from Major League Baseball, the Seattle Mariners winning the American League West for the first time in 24 years with a 9-2 win over the Colorado Rockies. And the the Cleveland Guardians defying odds with historic comeback for the American League Central lead. Just moving into the sole possession of first place with a 5-1 victory over the Detroit Tigers. That's sports, and that's the overnight time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. As we said on this tropical disturbance on our doorstep, and a special weather statement has been issued in relation to this disturbance. Invest 94 residents in the entire country, the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, being asked to pay special attention to all communications about this system. So persistent low-level troughing combined with tropical moisture will continue to support showers and thunderstorms across the northern and northwest Bahamas today, and the trough will move away from the area later today. Meanwhile, showers and thunderstorms associated with Invest 94, AL 94, this tropical disturbance will begin to affect the southeastern islands late this afternoon as it moves west-northwest. The disturbance could strengthen into a low-pressure system or a tropical depression by late Friday or Saturday. And regardless of whether it fully develops, the disturbance is going to bring unsettled weather across much of the Bahamas this weekend as it continues to track in a northerly direction. So, for today, for the northern and northwest Bahamas, variably to partly cloudy conditions, a 30 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Wind southeast to south at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times. For the central islands, partly sunny today, becoming partly cloudy tonight with a 10 to 20% chance of showers or afternoon thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. And for the southeastern Bahamas, variably cloudy with an increase in clouds by this afternoon, a 20 to 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 25 knots. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 80, 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. We'll have more on the tropical disturbance and the active tropics coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General Insurance Made Simple.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way?
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's a new day.
It's the glitziest night in agriculture, where roots run deep and the spotlight shines bright. The Agrarian Awards 2025 takes center stage on Saturday, October 18th at the Atlantis Paradise Island Grand Ballroom. And you need to be there. Presented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources and the Agricultural Development Organization. Get your tickets now at adobahamas.org or call 397-7400 for more information. Awards 2025, planting with heart and soil.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clarkson Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
This October, Bahama invites you to indulge your sense at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Marcus Samuelson, Dario Cicchini, Simeon Hall Jr., and Scott Conant, alongside a vibrant lineup of chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. From curated tasting events to beachfront feasts and immersive gallery experiences, this is more than a festival. It's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center stage.
Nothing beats a Chickchani Challenge. On September 27th, we're bringing the action, a 5K course packed with 20 thrilling obstacles. Start and finish at Fusion Superplex with energy, fun and excitement all around. First time? No problem. Try the Chickchani Light version, built just for beginners. Got kids? Ages 3 to 7 can take on their very own Chickchani Kids Challenge. And this year, we're turning 10. So grab your team, mark your calendar, and come celebrate with us. Visit chickchanichallenge.com to sign up today. Thanks to our sponsors Fusion Superplex, Guardian Radio 96.9, Kalina, RBC, Advantage Insurance, Party Pilots Rentals and Events, Fincastle Media Group, Powerade, Kalik, and Art of Graphics.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let print my masterpiece to life.
Located at the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 960, Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hope all's well with you.
Good morning to our audience. Sorry?
Yeah, I hope everything's going well with you.
Everything is going well.
Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. We have a lot to talk about this morning, a lot going on in the news. We'll get to that in just a bit. And the latest on what's happening in the tropics and what we can expect over the next few days in just a bit. But also, it's our monthly Better You series. Today, we're talking about etiquette and habits as it relates to WhatsApp. WhatsApp. Are there things that people are doing with WhatsApp communications that they shouldn't be doing, especially in a business setting? And yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Can't wait. And later in business, part two of what we started last week with the Davis administration marking their fourth year in office. Last week, we began looking back at our blueprint for change, trying to see what they have accomplished based on what they promised. And we're going to wrap that up today with part two. So that's all ahead. But let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, residents in Southeast Bahamas warned to be on alert as this tropical wave that we've been telling you about for the past few years gets closer and is likely to develop into at least a depression and maybe even stronger over the next few days. So Disaster Risk Management Authority residents in the areas, the islands of Inagua, Mayaguana, Acklands, Crooked Island, Long Key, Ragged Island, and Turks and Caicos are urged to begin preparations for possible tropical storm or tropical depression conditions, as heavy rainfall is expected with 2 to 4 inches and isolated totals of up to 12 inches anticipated. Residents are also encouraged to limit time outdoors and limit transit during heavy rainfall, and to protect homes and secure property and move vehicles to higher ground and protected cover where possible, identify the nearest shelters, and finalize family emergency plans, prepare disaster kits, including flashlights and essential documents in waterproof containers. It's also noting that residents in the rest of the Bahamas should pay close attention over the coming days, as further development of the system could also bring impacts to those areas. Right? So the latest from the Department of Meteorology before we get what the National Hurricane Center is saying. So this tropical disturbance could strengthen into a low pressure system or a tropical depression by late Friday or Saturday, and will begin to impact the Southeast Bahamas by late this evening into early tomorrow. Regardless of whether it develops, this disturbance has the potential to produce unsettled weather across much of the country into the weekend as it continues to move in a northerly direction. Right? So here's the very latest from the National Hurricane Center, just a couple of hours ago now. Update soon. So this area, AL94, a tropical wave centered near the Dominican Republic now, continues to produce widespread disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The wave is expected to move west-northwest at around 10 to 15 miles per hour, spreading heavy rainfall and gusty winds across Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic today. The system is then expected to slow down and turn northwestward when it reaches the southwestern Atlantic. A tropical depression is likely to form when the disturbance is near the Bahamas late this week, and the week's almost done, so by tomorrow. And interests in Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Bahamas should monitor the progress for the system. Formation chance through 48 hours is medium at about 50%. And formation chance through 7 days is high at about 80%. So again, it's forming, it's small. So the issue is the rainfall. The rainfall, and again, the DRM saying that it could be anywhere from 2 to 4 inches and isolated totals of 6 inches, which, as you can see, with the rain we've been getting, I don't know how it's been in Grand Bahama, Laverne, but our streets already flooded here in New Providence.
Yesterday, I'm not sure when the rain started. I was at a training, facilitating a training, but it got to the point where we could hear it raining, right? I want to say that maybe it rained for about 15, 20 minutes. But when I left and as I was driving, I couldn't believe it. So much water. Certain areas flood.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, what happened? And that was, you know what I mean? It didn't rain for that long. So definitely we have to watch out for that. Businesses, port, wherever there are drains, you need to make sure that your drains are clear, because the water's just sitting there. All of these things we need to do.
Yeah,
as we are watching this formation.
Well, you know, what you talked about normally is what happens. It rains for a few minutes and then suddenly the streets are all flooded. But yesterday, I swear to you, we experienced a heavy rain that seemed endless. Like, when is this going to stop? It just went on nonstop for at least an hour. And it was like, good Lord, there's a lot of water. So, yeah, we've been experiencing everything. Short and heavy, long and heavy.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Short and heavy, but it was heavy. And I went several places, and wherever there's low-lying area, water sometimes in some areas, it was from one side of the street to the next, converging in the middle. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Wow. So again, for the Southeast Bahamas tonight, is when you're going to start to see that the weather associated with this. And tomorrow it's going to be a lot of rain expected for you. And by Saturday, a good portion of the Bahamas is going to be seeing some rain as this thing tries to organize over us. Before moving north and potentially being a challenge for the Carolinas. That's how it's looking so far. But it will be, it's possible that a lot of the very bad weather is going to be just to the east of us, but that we're still going to see a lot of rain straight through to Sunday. And for you guys up there, maybe into Monday morning even. But we will see. Stay tuned to the Guardian News Network. We'll keep you posted on all of this. And just remember, this is out there. It's Gabrielle heading to Europe, of all things.
Of all places.
Right? Portugal needs to be on the alert for that. And Umberto formed yesterday. And another system threatening Bermuda. Bermuda's been under the gun quite a bit in the last couple of years. So we wish them all the best. All right, so again, we'll have the latest for you as soon as we get it on the system closest to us. So the big headline in the National Guardian today, government fires back at jobs report. There's also a story on the Valley Boys. We'll get to the Valley Boys in just a bit. But the Minister of Labor, Pia Glover-Roll, saying the results of the latest labor force survey indicate that unemployment increased to 10.8%, but these are not an accurate representation of the current state of the labor market. We talked about this briefly yesterday. That was for the first quarter of the year. And folks are mentioning it, yeah. We've had Celebration Key for Grand Bahama since then, and Royal Caribbean has gone on their very aggressive push to hire people. There have been other projects that have come on stream since then. And Glover Roll is pointing to the cyclical nature of employment in the country. So I'm going to read this story from our Rachel Scott. So Glover Roll says that the survey, which was conducted between January and March, reflects cyclical contractions with seasonal layoffs, as well as broader trends in the construction and tourism industries. Glover Roll says the labor force participation increased from 74.8% in late 2024 to 76% in early 2025, with more people actively seeking work. She says, quote, while this has contributed to the increase in the unemployment rate, it also signals confidence in the economy and an increased desire among Bahamians to engage in the workforce. The recorded 10.8% unemployment was up from 9.4% recorded in the fourth quarter of 2024. It also exceeded the pre-COVID-19 rate of 9.5%. In the first quarter of 2025, the total labor force was 240,000, so 119,085 women and 121,565 men in the labor force. More women were unemployed than men. That's 13,295 women. It's a lot. Compared to 12,630 men. Wow. The national unemployment rate was 11.2% for women and 10.4% for men. A breakdown of the unemployment rate of the country's three major islands showed New Providence at 11%, Grand Bahama at 12.8%, and Abaco at 13.8% during the first quarter of this year. Last year, the Davis administration touted the low unemployment rate of 8.7% in the first and second quarters and 7.2% in the third quarter of the results of its economic policies. Glover Roll said that the government remains committed to expanding employment opportunities for Bahamians. She expressed concerns, though, over long-term employment concerns and unemployability, particularly among young Bahamians. Unemployability. Saying, quote, it's not simply that jobs are unavailable. Hundreds of openings exist in our Department of Labor database that we have been unable to fill. The real challenge lies in building and aligning skills with the opportunities on offer. She said the government has been working to invest in training, apprenticeships, and new pathways to combat this issue, pointing to the recently launched National Productivity Task Force as a key initiative, saying that its work can, quote, includes creating the framework, systems, and stakeholder partnerships necessary to address productivity shortfalls that limit economic partnerships and participation. She also noted that other, including, are aimed at filling the skills gap, including the National Apprenticeship Program, the Bahamas Polytechnic Accreditation and Training Hub, and the Creative and Performing Arts School campus, and the expansion of BTVI to Abaco, Eleuthera, and Exuma. Okay, so let's focus on that part. The fact that there are so many young people who are unemployable. Let's get your reaction to all of that. What do you make of it? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. There are ads in the papers almost every day with, their job opportunities. People have signs on their storefronts in the windows saying we're hiring. We're looking for not just workers, managers too. And you're hearing about job fairs often. So what's going on? What's really going on?
Yeah. What makes these young people, what is that? Or what, that we've now said that so many of them are unemployable?
You,
What is
I
it?
mean,
Lack of
I know,
skills? Is
yeah,
it attitude? Was what?
all of the above. Probably. A lot of these were the young people who were in school during the pandemic, and we know that was very challenging for a lot of people. Did they miss out on some key skills there? I don't know, but
I don't know if we can really say that because I and when I say that, I'm talking about attributing it to the pandemic because just like there were all students were impacted. And there are students who are holding jobs, are more successful. So perhaps these were students who were already struggling prior to,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it just, maybe the pandemic, further set them back.
right, yeah. Well,
So
definitely
I
not
just don't,
everybody.
my point was, I just don't want to say, okay, it's because of the pandemic alone.
No, I'm sure
Really?
it did make it worse for those who were struggling. And so we
Right.
already had a lot who were struggling, and now you have more of those. More of those, I'm sure.
Right.
We hear it all the time.
But
Not just in
in
terms
terms of employability, like what are the areas that business owners are finding that some young people are so deficient in?
yeah. Well, let's see. Some folks, often when we do these shows, people call in and tell you what they're seeing. We hear everything, though, from lack of basic social skills to basic understanding of English and math. But let's
Wow.
hear from these folks.
The
323.
social skills I definitely get.
Well, that's a big one.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it, because we are so attached to these devices.
Yeah.
In my interactions, you find they struggle to have a conversation. They can be on their phone, WhatsApping whomever, but ask them to go and speak to what? So what am I supposed to say? It's panic sometimes.
Wow. All right, so the phone lines are all lit up. Let's hear what these folks have to say. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight, how are you?
Doing well.
Well, speaking about labor, my heart is full this morning. We lost a great labor unionist, Mr. Frank Carter.
Oh, wow. I did not hear that.
He passed away yesterday. I served on his administration. He represented AAAW Bahamas area.
Yes.
And man, listen, my heart is full. I spoke to Frank just a couple of days ago. But he was the one who established the first pay scale, proper pay scale in Bahamas they ever had. Overall, I think some 30-something%. So my heart is full. And guess what? He's a consultant, and he loved what the work of serving the people, the Bahamian workers in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I am very sad to hear about that. Wow.
Yeah, man, I just let you know, boy, I tell you, it's rough, but he always tells me, Brother Gates, God knows best, So you guys keep doing the good work, and whatever you're doing, just keep doing the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Condolences to the Carter family. Frank Carter was a good guy, very good guy. Wow. Okay. Oh boy. Wow. Sorry to hear that. Man. Okay. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Morning.
Something Laverne said is so true. When we were teenagers coming up, we were always taught and we were made to focus on productivity on a lot of these jobs within. I noticed in 2015 at my last place of employment, there was an uptick where it seems as if today's youth, even though they say they want jobs, they were so transfixed on their mobile devices. And I always thought that was going to be the albatross around the neck, because I can tell you, it seems as if no matter where you go, you talk about productivity, you talk about whether they're qualified to do jobs and so on and so forth. And it always comes back down to the social. I almost go to the point to say social engineering of our people's minds. These cell phones happen to be an albatross around the neck for a lot of young people, in particular the young people. The old people are bad enough, but the young people, they really take it to the extreme. Let me give you a classic example here. I believe that the average person, if we were to really take the data that we have now, whether it's statistical or not, but just looking around and noticing, you go on a job site and look at the attitude of the worker, it essentially would tell you the quality of that worker and apparently the norms that's going on in the job sites. And, if something is tolerable, I know there's one or two properties, for instance, that do not allow their employees to have their cell phones on them while they're working. When they come to that property, they check their cell phones in. When they leave the property, they check it out. And if they are found with a cell phone while on duty, there's consequences and repercussions for that action. A lot of these jobs have to get back to it. There's too much liberalism on these jobs. They allow them to do all kinds of stuff, and there's really no repercussions. So it's a double-edged sword. And for an older person such as myself, who was brought up in the strictest template when it comes down to coming down to employment on a person's job site or whatever, and to see what's going on today, I just shake my head and say, no wonder things are the way it is. But that's all primarily I have to offer in this segment. And I just pray to God that, hey, these persons are, they come on these jobs and they're not ready for these jobs. I really hope that they will take a second look and make some changes on how we are allowed to get away with some stuff when we shouldn't. When we know in the past we couldn't do it. But that's all I have to offer for now. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, but the company should do that, but we've got to teach our kids some self-control too, right?
I just have to say that.
Right, teach ourselves some self-control.
That a company has to have that kind of, there's been such an issue. A company has to create a policy where they have to police your cell phone use.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, and it starts there with the training. Come off of the device. No device at the table. No, we're going to talk. We're going to have conversation. This is how they develop social skills, as opposed to, well, when you look at it, they're attached to these devices because, unfortunately, in some cases, these devices, they've been exposed to these devices to their friend from they were toddlers, right? So there's always been a screen in front of their face.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's become such a part of them.
The joke when you hand a toddler a book, they try to swipe the cover. You've seen that before?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning, the lady from the north.
Good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, let me make my contribution. Jeff has made some great contributions now. See, let me tell you how this country went, Dwight. I studied being, but I know my people. And, the politicians are part of all the problem, You see, like Jeff say, if I get my job, I ain't say you can't have your phone, leave in the car. That's only my watch to knock you off the start time. You see, and it looks like it's by design. Or when they say, they can't find a qualified behemoth. When they do find a qualified children who been to colleges and university, you were qualified. What kind of nonsense is that? I didn't say that they can't bring back some consultants, right? Maybe 20, 30, but bring back over 500. Who afford to pay the life insurance was right? Not functioning. Nothing working right in this country. The governor, everybody. It's sad. It's sad. Everybody come to this country in the elevator besides the BME people. You walk from East Street. You want to take home from C to C is East Street. Chinese who own everything on both sides. Everybody drinking rum, everybody baking. You go in Marcus with the same thing. Blue Low, the same thing. Hey, Dwight, we need to fix this country. Dwight, for years I was saying, when we had the best commander of the defense force, Mr. Skawala, I said, I will come with this. I will be reservist for the defense force. You all don't got to pay me. Just give me something to eat and pay. Because I know we're trying to deal with a drug problem. Now we got the people, behemoths now, local behemoths running Dominican out of our waters, man. What are we paying these people for? What are the politicians doing? Where they living? Huh? But like I always say, the Moses school last time around, go see, we ain't get no blessings. until we get rid of all of them. And this is the last time I'm trying to take my words back.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Did you say the Chinese on everything on the east and west of East Street? Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's what he
what
said.
Producer says is true. What? Come on. What? Seriously?
You don't go there.
I mean, how far east? Like all the way to. What? Okay. You all are. We just sat back and allowed. But people complain about the other people coming from other places. Oh, interesting. Okay. This text just says when unemployment is low, they take the credit, but when it's high, they deflect and make excuses. Never accountable. Well, what do you make of that? What do you make of that? I mean, the I don't want to call them excuses, but the explanations are reasonable, aren't they? We know that's how it works in the fall, in the late fall, and right end of the year, November, October, November, December. There are people who are getting jobs. Christmas is coming. I need to hire some people because this is happening. We get busy. I have a lot of catering to do. I need gift wrappers. I need this because I got to do that. And you take on some staff, and then January, well, we don't need that many people anymore. Right. That's a common phenomenon here.
Yeah, we do absolutely have seasonal staff, but is it that many? You know what I mean?
It probably is. Probably is. Take on some people on a contractual basis and let them go, and things slow down. Everyone talks about that. January is very slow, and but again, as the labor minister is saying, since then there have been lots of changes. Per report, we will see something very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to the unemployability. Somebody's saying here, social promotion in schools, that's causing a problem. Another text in a similar vein saying that the problem is education, environment, basic skills. They lack these. Some of them don't even know how to write. Wow. Okay. Boy, another text. I think the truth is that too many people have college degrees. Oh, yeah? And are actually overqualified. Look at the number of students who do not return home because of the stories of the competitive job market. Well, I think there are the reasons why they don't return home. But anyway, a lot of entry-level jobs require experience, which does not make sense either. That is true. That is
right.
True. Yeah.
If you're applying for a job and the job says must have 3 years experience.
And speak German.
Right. Pardon me?
Speak German and
right. So at this point,
write Mandarin.
If everybody's requiring experience to hire me, how am I?
Yeah.
Because everybody's requiring experience. So I think it's more than one thing, but there are things that we can help with. And the programs that are being offered now, and in most cases, a lot of them are free for Bahamians. I think that we need to make sure that our young people, that people in general, are taking advantage of these programs to upskill, reskill, or just skill. And then, if we have the data already exists, where Ministry of Labor is saying we have all of these jobs, right, falling into these categories. We know that they're underserved. These are the categories, and we desperately need people. Then, from 10th, 11th grade, let's see how we are pushing more of our students to go into those areas.
Well, this texture says here, unemployability among our nation's youth is a clear indication or a clear indictment of the education system. Well, I don't know. We got a lot of people doing very well with the education system. I think there's a lot of other factors at play. A lot of people who, again, we cannot discount the pandemic, but there are lots of people, we've known that from our time, right, who were playing their way through school and then only later caught some sense and realized, oh boy, now I need to do some things. And those folks seem to be having a lot of fun in high school. I think it's very attractive to people watching from the outside, like, wow, he's so cool, she's so cool, I want to be like them. And the number of people who are floating, I have to choose my words wisely, floating their way through high school seems to be growing, right? Especially in this era of, it goes back to the devices, social media. Look at me. Yeah, I'm only 14, but I'm having the time of my life. And these other issues can wait. And if you have that mindset when you're 21 and struggling, is it too late? Whose fault is it that you're unemployable?
Right.
Because there's somebody in your class who you grew up with who got so many SATs and BGCSEs and is in college and working. But you went to the same school and, I don't know. There's a lot going on.
You know, and I'm sure that our education system needs improving.
Absolutely.
Many, of course, and for the days and times in which we live. But there are also, like you say, children who have gone through that system and appear to be doing well.
And it's endorsed, almost sanctioned by their parents, who have not tried to rein them in and say, hey, what are you doing? You're going to make a fool of yourself. Right? More concerned about the prom than any end-of-year examinations or anything like that. And that's been happening from that time. It's not a new thing. Not a new thing.
But what we can do also is see when do we, because sometimes they start off well and then they get, when does that happen? What
junior high.
Can we identify, okay, during junior high, we see that they're getting distracted or they're losing interest. How then can we grab their attention? Is it that, they need to be more challenged? What is it? Why are we losing them right there and there? And then how can we, along with the parents, the education system, the community, whatever, work together to, you got to get through high school. At the least.
It's hundreds of people that you have to do that for, thousands. And it's a lot on teachers, especially if the parents don't get it. It's very challenging. Everybody has to get it. The kid has to have some interest. The parents have to be interested. The kids have to, the teachers have to be interested. It just can't be one of the three. And often it seems like it's only one of the three. So, wow. This texture says here, this analysis seems faulty. We are currently in the hotel slow period with all major hotels reporting bookings lower than a country, not a minor department in a small store or something, saying there is no problem over here, but there's a problem over there. So things are great overall. Doesn't make sense. If the minister can point to job postings that can't be filled, she has a problem in her ministry. We cannot allow these ministers to compartmentalize issues any longer. The country has a macro issue from a wide range of factors. Well, maybe we need to go on the website and see what the postings are.
Postings are, it'd be interesting to see what areas that can't be filled,
Yeah. Let's see if I can pull that up. Maybe right after the news we'll get to that. This person says here, I want to weigh in as a person who looks for people to work for them. When I check their social media of some of the candidates, you find guys holding up guns and gang signs and girls dancing on their heads and shaking their butts in clubs. This could be an issue. Well, it certainly could. Okay, so then, well, I get the gang signs.
May I just say, not just young people,
right?
Like,
it's
just
not just
post
young
responsibly.
People.
We go back to these devices again.
Yeah.
You go on these profane, laden rants, and then a week later, after you've gone viral, you're somewhere with an application.
Yeah.
Seeking employment. So.
Callers, we'll get to you in just a second. We're running out of time. We've got to go to the news. But this person says here, employers have gotten lazy in terms of training. Most people can be trained to do these jobs. Well, I don't know if that's it. They're training and then the people leave them. And the training and the people leave them again, right?
Okay, so
I think that might be part of it. And they'd rather have somebody doing
but Dwight,
perhaps.
If you're training and the people leave you and you're training again and the people leave you, at some point, maybe you need to discover why people keep leaving.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
That's a
And
good
it
point.
may not just be that they're using you for training. What is the work environment? What is the culture of your organization? Because I can tell you one thing that I've observed with young people, they're not like how I would say our generation or generations in the past were, where we worked under some horrible conditions, but we were like, I got to stick it out, you know? They're not, no, they're not doing that.
Who was like that?
So,
You were like that?
come on, Dwight.
Stick it.
That was kind of the thing. Hold on to your job. You worked under some bad conditions, but it's like, I got to hold on to this job.
What? Maybe. Okay.
Dwight,
While
don't get me
while
started.
actively looking for something else, though. No.
Pardon?
While actively looking for something else, like
In
until
some
you
cases,
found.
while actively looking, and in other cases, it's almost like you, I don't know, try to get an award for how much you could endure.
Oh, that must have
under
been
some
slightly
really
before my time, but definitely.
unreasonable requests, demands,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I know about
so-
don't leave until you have something else, but I don't know about indefinitely tolerating foolishness. I'm not too sure about that
But
one.
even the don't leave until you find something else. I'm seeing that young people are not like
Yeah,
that.
they definitely
will
aren't.
leave.
They will
They will
leave.
leave.
They will leave at 10:30 in the morning. Absolutely. Okay, the news. We'll pick this up on the other side, and it's going to blend into our discussion about these devices in any event. So it's all connected, folks. This is Morning Blend on a Thursday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be back after the news.
Is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:24, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Ready to refresh your space? Well, head to your local Sherwin-Williams for premium paint, pro tips, and everyday deals that make it easy to get started. Here's what's going on. We're all watching this tropical disturbance near the Bahamas and expected to impact our weather this weekend. And so a special weather statement has been issued in relation to the tropical disturbance, AL94. Residents in the entire Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands need to be paying attention on this over the next few days. More on that in just a bit. For today, persistent low-level troughing combined with tropical moisture will continue to support showers and thunderstorms across the northern and northwest Bahamas. The trough will move away from the area later today, but showers and thunderstorms, along with moderate to strong breezes associated with tropical disturbance AL94, will begin to affect the southeastern islands late this afternoon as it moves west-northwestward. And that disturbance could strengthen into a low-pressure system or a tropical depression by late Friday or Saturday. Regardless of whether it develops, the disturbance has the potential to produce unsettled weather across most of the country this weekend as it moves in a northerly direction. So for today, we're looking at partly to variably cloudy conditions for the northern and northwest Bahamas, still a 30 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast, partly sunny to variably cloudy conditions with an increase in cloudiness this afternoon for the southeastern islands and tonight for the central islands. A 10 to 20% chance of showers or 20 to 30% chance for the southeast Bahamas. High temperatures across the country, highs around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index will make you feel like it's 27 Celsius, 33 Celsius, yes. The heat index will make you feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Friday, variably cloudy for the northern and northwest Bahamas, but partly cloudy to cloudy for the central and southeast islands. In the central southeastern islands, rain chances up to about 30 to 50%. And that's for showers and thunderstorms. That's going to hold pretty much for Saturday, and rain chances up slightly. And for Sunday, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy conditions for most areas, with a 20 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms holding into Monday and Tuesday. So we're watching a couple of areas as Hurricane Gabrielle, as we said, making its way east towards Europe. Portugal could issue for Bermuda. But we are paying close attention here to AL94, this tropical wave near the Dominican Republic right now that continues to produce widespread disorganized showers and thunderstorms, and a tropical depression very likely to form. The very latest from the National Hurricane Center as of 8 o'clock this morning. The tropical wave is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms and gusty winds across the Dominican Republic and the Turks and Caicos Islands. An area of low pressure expected to form along the wave tonight or early Friday when it moves near the southeast Bahamas. The low is expected to become a tropical depression when it's near the central and northwest Bahamas in a couple of days. Interests in the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Bahamas should monitor progress of the system as heavy rains and gusty winds are likely across these areas. And interest in the southeastern United States should be paying attention as well. Formation chance through 48 hours is high, and through the next 7 days, high at about 90%. Rain totals, rainfall anywhere between 2 to 4 inches, with isolated totals of up to 6 inches anticipated. That's your morning blend. Weather check. Weather check also brought to you by Easy Car Sales. The new 2026 collection of EVs have landed at Easy Car Sales. Hop in, hit the road, and never go back to gas again. Only at Easy Car Sales. Always electric, always the best brands in the business. And time for traffic, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. In real-time traffic, got a number of hot spots to tell you about, and some of the roads are flooded, so keep that in mind. Potholes in a number of spots, too, so keep that in mind as well. We've got northbound from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. And that is you're going to see some heavy traffic on Tawny Williams Darling Highway westbound towards that roundabout and eastbound as well. And the traffic's going to continue for you if you're heading northbound as you get onto New Providence Highway, especially north of Sports Center Road, and approach the six-legged roundabout for you northbound. If you're on West Bay Street, slow-moving traffic eastbound near Saunders Beach, especially near the roundabout with New Providence Highway, and east of that roundabout on the way to Arawak Key. Over on Blue Hill Road, you've got heavy traffic for you north of Carmichael near Soldier Road and on the way to Independence Drive. And Independence Drive westbound, some slow-moving heavy traffic for you this morning. Elsewhere, we've got pockets along Prince Charles Drive in the major intersections. And Carmichael Road westbound to Coral Harbor Road, seeing some slow-moving traffic at this hour. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by Insurance Agents and Brokers, your partner for smart motor insurance and advice that puts you first. Whether you're at home or on the go, getting an instant motor quote is easy. Give them a call or visit your nearest branch or log in anytime at nuainsurance.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
was a ghost, I was alone. 두어진 길 속에 given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be.
We're back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with this Thursday morning. We're talking about what's in the news. Coming up in a few minutes, though, our Better You series is going to be looking at something that's been a part of our conversation all morning, these devices and WhatsApp, especially, and etiquette and habits. We're going to get into that in just a few minutes. Just want to wrap up the conversation, Laverne. We got a lot of great text messages. We can take maybe a couple calls really quickly. But as I promised, so I said let's go on to the website that the Minister of Labor is talking about, Pierre Glover Roll.
Right.
So it's jobseekers.bahamas.gov.bs. jobseekers.bahamas.gov.bs. And there's a whole lot here for true, for real, as they say, right? So it's like, it's not 50, I guess, is it pages? Yeah, 15 pages of jobs. I'll just name a few of these. And they go back all the way to August. So some of these were posted in August. And the latest posted like today. But some of the things on the most recent ones, shift operator, full-time job. A lot of this is in the Family Islands. A lot of Grand Bahama postings here. Maybe, I don't know if that's part of the problem. That's not a slight. You know what I mean, Laverne? I'm just saying that might be an issue. It might be an issue for some people. But anywhere from a custodian, housekeeper, family assistant, that one's in Freeport, sales clerk, Freeport, marine electrical mate, Freeport, bartender, Freeport, animator. And someone's looking for a full-time animator in Freeport. Mechanics, plumbers, Great Stirrup Key. That's just on page 1. If you go a little further back, media and guest support assistant in Eleuthera, housekeeper, servers. That's New Providence. Both of those. Accounts receivable clerk, payroll clerk, experienced teller. You can't believe you're having a hard time finding that. Server,
again.
mail.
Us also factor in, like you said, experienced teller. Some of these places are looking for people because your work culture sucks. It's a terrible environment, and so you have a high rate of turnover.
Right. Plus, a lot of people who have experience as a teller don't want to be a teller anymore. They want to move up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Ah, boy. So a lifeguard, lots of lifeguard positions. Some of these are Coco Key, refrigeration technician, wastewater treatment plant or reverse osmosis worker, site nurse. Again, a lot of these are Coco Key. Music teacher, religion music teacher. Doesn't say which island. Nail tech. Let's go back to the end of this. Okay, I'll go to page 15 in a bit. Page 12. So these were posted in August. Assurance senior manager, and that's the insurance industry, right? Senior manager at a spa for New Providence, posted in August. Crane operator, head chef in Eleuthera, incinerator operator. Does that take skills there to do that?
Apparently, yes.
Okay.
It's an incinerator, Dwight. That can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You just can't press a button. No, okay.
It's more than that. See, so clearly, you don't need to apply for that.
Underqualified. Manager. If you go back to the furthest page, so this is posted mid-August. Heavy equipment truck driver, landscaping, somebody for Grand Bahama, caregiver at a private home in New Providence, a cook, an accountant, program manager. I don't know what that means. It's very vague, but I guess when you click on it, it'll give you some information. But there is a lot. There's a whole lot there. Jobseekersbahamas.gov.bs.
And how often do they update that?
Well, like I said, it's going back to August, and things were posted today. Well, they.
Well, I mean, and you could post every day, but do you go back and
to
the
remove
position
the
is
things?
filled? Right.
I'm not sure. But again, the minister is saying that they've got tons of things there, and people can't fill them. So, I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. Check it out, folks. Let's see. There's a whole lot of people not working. Jobseekers.bahamas.gov.bs. Wow. Let's read these messages before we have to take a break. This person says here, I'm sorry, Glover, March is the second highest season in the tourism industry, so that cyclical influence should have been a positive one towards the job numbers. Secondly, if more people are now seeking employment and she is saying this was a negative influence on the numbers when she also had the positive effect from those numbers in the previous reports, when those people were not participating, it made her numbers look better. Okay, now that part, I agree. But perhaps with the first point that the texter made, maybe it's the tourism sector that is less cyclical. Is that not possible? That it's other industries that were causing that issue? That you don't have too many people in the tourism sector who are just, I'm only here for 2 months type of thing. No? I don't know. Let's take this call, and then we want to read the final messages here. Good morning. You're on the air.
Dwight, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good. This seems to be, do you remember last month or earlier this month when we spoke about education, and there was the question of persons talking about the amount of people in the school that don't speak a specific language. And it was surprising to me that they didn't have specific numbers on them, on that. Now we come back and we're talking about data again and jobs, et cetera, and there is a numbers issue. There's another side of this ledger that no one's talking about, that goes under the radar and stays under the radar. These people who come into the country to fill vacancies, why does that register go dark once the job is full? Why isn't those numbers live and constantly reflected in, because these jobs are not supposed to be jobs that they hold on permanently. So these jobs are these vacancies that are full from overseas have an expiration date. Why is it that there's no live tracking these jobs return back to the Bahamian people?
I mean, how do you know there's not? There might be. It's just maybe not.
I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I believe that the Department of Labor should have had a task force that focuses on the realignment of jobs aggressively focus on the realignment of jobs that go in this direction where foreigners come in and fill these jobs for temporary reasons. And the reason why I say that is because in a lot of ways, if good jobs are being created and they go on that side of the ledger, and we are not aggressive enough to make sure that it returns back to the side where Bahamians get those jobs, we're failing also. And I think that to me, that is the one thing that we're not talking down to how we approach filling vacancies. Yes, there is a conversation to be had about Bahamians filling these jobs, but there's also a conversation to be had to what happens to these jobs satisfactorily after you heard what the gentleman told you the other day, how he became the top chef that he was in the culinary industry. It was because a job vacancy, someone came in and they monitored that job, and then he was able to transition into that job, and then he became one of the top chefs in the country. So I think that we need to focus on that. And whenever, I'm sure at some point the Minister of Labor is going to come back on your show, and that's what those guys talked about when they were on your show last week, when they were talking about the culinary school. Transition of jobs back to Bahamian.
Yeah.
Monitoring people who come in to take up vacancies. That's missing from this conversation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. It's part of it. But the minister is suggesting that some of these folks don't have any type of skill that would be able to fill what's available. Right? And that's a little bit slightly different from those guys who had the skills, just needed the training and stuff. But so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of factors here. But you've got to deal with all of it, I'm sure. The other issue is that these kids have a drug problem. What now? Young people today, the educational level is much to be desired, despite them having a so-so resume. They don't even have mother's wit as a backup. which could be a plus at times. It can tell you who just got killed and TikTok, but God help us with the upcoming generation. Okay. A lot of these positions have already been taken up. It is a political stunt to misguide us. That's a text. All of those jobs are not available. I know personally that they post things and do not remove the posting even after it's filled.
That's what I asked.
Yeah. Well, the minister says that there are tons and that no one's filling them.
I'm not saying that there aren't, a number of jobs available that need to be filled that aren't being filled because of lack of skills.
Mm-hmm.
But I really would like to know how frequently is that database updated to show that, okay, this job here, that job there, wherever has been filled.
Okay. Well, I hear you. This person says here, when people get the required experience that companies seek, they will move on for better pay and to gain even more experience. When companies train people and they gain experience in the particular company and you want to keep them, you need to pay them and compensate them fairly. I've always noticed in certain movies dealing with expeditions, the most experienced guide is sought out. So experience is a vital asset, and if one has the academic qualifications, then more power to such persons and to the companies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
And I think it's a cop-out if companies say, when we do training, once we train them, they leave. You need to sit down with your human resource department and find out that why are they leaving? Because if you're investing in training for them and it's a great place to work and they are adequately compensated, I don't see them leaving.
This texter says, job seekers doesn't respond. I was working when the numbers were done and not now. I will never be, it will never be perfectly accurate. Okay, well, you're talking about a lot of different things. So you're saying job seekers doesn't respond. You were working when the jobs report was done, and now you're looking for work. And so, okay, well, that's a lot. Most of those jobs are there for foreigners, and the ones Bahamians can get, they are underpaid for. It's rough out here. You set interviews with up, and people don't show up. Oh, this is an employer. There are some people who want the pay but really do not want to work. It is very concerning as a business owner. Wow. Each job post on the site has an expiration. All right, so they would only be there for a little while, I guess. A lot of young men don't want to work. A young man asked me for a job. I asked what's his skill set, and he says he does a little of everything. He named a few, including construction. I told him, come. The young man lifted 2 bags of cement and then quit. And yes, they do have a serious drug and smoking problem. Oh, boy. Okay. This person says here, Dwight, let's you and I sponsor a lunch meeting between the labor minister and the education minister and Teachers Union President Belinda Wilson, and maybe our leaders can come up with a solution. Let's put down the egos and the partisanship and the gotcha politics and do it for our nation's youth.
I don't know if, the union president is that the labor minister and the minister of education already work together on things like this.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's not so much the devices that are the problem. It's social media that all the kids are on. Well, that's kind of the same thing, right? When you and I were growing up, they had regulations on alcohol and tobacco that you couldn't use them until you were 18. What you talking about? What? What do you mean? You mean law? Play people were drinking from they were 8. So I don't know what you're saying. Anyway, it was a highly addictive substance. Social media is the same thing, and future studies will show that it was detrimental to our youth to allow them to experience social media and get that high, that dopamine hit at such a young age. Okay, I get your point there. Please inform your listeners to avoid the Grove West as an alternative for West Bay Street because the roads are severely flooded. The waters are high. Okay, folks.
Oh, wow.
Keep that in mind.
Thank you for that, texter.
Wow. And some students may be slackers, but others may have learning disabilities or simply need more support. And again, I would hope their parents are actively aware and actively helping the teachers and helping to find the teachers who can help them, right? Not just letting them coast through school and then surprised in grade 11 or 12 when suddenly you learn that your child has a learning disability. You didn't know that all that time? How's that possible?
Sometimes you're in denial, Dwight. Sometimes you're in denial.
But then you have no one to blame.
Seriously.
Denial. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you are in denial. You don't know enough to identify it. Mm-mm. And then if it's pointed out that there may be a concern that, maybe you want to get your child tested or whatever, you don't do that. And
so who's the problem here?
You don't do that is because you may not want to really accept that there is an issue.
So the parent is the problem. It's all the parent in that regard, right? 100%, 125% could only be because it's not the child, and the teachers are probably trying to tell you. Okay, well, be in denial. Be in denial. Wow.
Yeah.
We got to go to a break.
Dwight, you say that so callously, but,
What will that do? You think it'll go away? That doesn't make any sense.
Sometimes it just takes, it does not, but I'm just saying it does exist.
Well,
right?
Okay. And it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. He or she can't find a job and is ill-equipped to be an adult in the Bahamas today. Someone's got to... Well, we got to go to a break.
It's not the telling, it's the accepting of it.
Well, it's up to them, but that's the truth. You failed your child. You failed them. And I hope you're proud. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Cozy up to autumn delights with Nassau Tile during our fantastic fall sale, September 22nd to 29th. Harvest the best deals on this season's latest designs with 20% off store-wide. Buy big and save big on all tile, thin set grout, mosaics, trims, and more. Don't delay. Prices are falling and autumn deals are calling at Nassau Tile. Call 322-2100 or visit our showroom on Dodswell Street to make your fantastic fall dream space a reality.
Summer lasts forever at BWF. Beat the heat with unbelievable prices. Up to 50% off tent sales Saturday, September 27th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Deals, deals, and more deals. Red hot prices, cool buys. Brighten this season with huge savings. Up to 50% off tent sales Saturday, September 27th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Coolers, grills and griddles, kitchen and outdoor cooking supplies, lawn and garden supplies, household supplies, and much more. Shop now and save with BWF new store hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. BWF, we are more than just our name. Number 13 Wilton Street. Check us out on Facebook and like our page to keep up to date with more exciting bargains. BWF, we ship to the Family Islands. Telephone 394-0004 or 6.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Starbucks Bahamas is the place you need to be. Yeah. Taste the pride of Bahamian craft and culture in premium coffee. Recommended to serve convenience and we stand on
consistency. We're more than just a coffee house. Come join our community. Living your vibe. 20 years. Set the celebration with us. Uplift the everyday with each cup. Coffee community craft and culture. Living your vibe. 20 years. Set the celebration with us. Starbucks Bahamas come to give you coffee community craft and culture.
In uncertain times, resilience is everything. That's why CFAL is inviting you to the financial services event of the year, the 2025 CFAL Pension and Economic Conference. It all happens Thursday, October 16th at 8 a.m. at the Grand Hyatt Baha Mar Convention Center. Under the theme Resilience in the Face of Global Uncertainty, this half-day conference is your chance to gain power navigating today's shifting global economy. This is the premier networking and knowledge-sharing event of the year, and you cannot afford to miss it. So secure your spot today at www.cfal.com.
Your solution for rising gas prices and expensive car maintenance has landed. Brand new 2026 electric vehicles from BYD have arrived at Easy Car Sales. Imagine no more gas and major savings on maintenance. Test drive a BYD EV today and save thousands with the car that redefines driving. Visit easy242.com for our 3 locations, in-house financing, and more. Easy Car Sales, the only authorized BYD dealer and warranty provider in the Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
You think I crazy lady, you think that I fool. I hear you call me stupid, but everything cool, girl. You tell me go sit down out there and fill out one long form. You say you gonna call me back, but I can't keep my phone on, I broke. So telling them I need one job. My neighbor them just got robbed. Things seem easy, man, things so hard. Even rough to say, oh my God.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And, okay, so they're coming for me now on the text line, Laverne. You caused this. And now Farrell wants to pivot our Better You series with life coach Farrell Goff. So we're going to put the WhatsApp etiquette conversation on hold till next month, and keep this train going with training and qualifications and work ethics. Farrell Goff, good morning.
Morning, guys. Boy, y'all are so
good morning. Good morning, Farrell.
Well, I was itching.
I feel like every time you come on, we end up pivoting somehow.
Yeah,
but it's always good. It's always good.
Right? Yeah, some very, very beneficial topics, and this is definitely one of them when it comes around like job availability, persons being ready for them, and then you also a lot of times too, Dwight, in these conversations, you know, people put the focus on the government, they put the focus on the individual, but a lot of times the employer has a huge stake in this as well, right? So just because you are a Bahamian, and then this is a hard pill to swallow, right? But a lot of us who've been in the business world, we've experienced this to some degree or another. Just because one person has the same qualifications as another person, that doesn't necessarily mean they're a better fit for your organization, right? Because then other things get into that, right? Like work ethic. Work ethic is huge. Just because you qualify on paper, your background may show me, or your track record may show me, or the way you present yourself may show me that I don't know if you can fit into the culture of my company, right? Yeah, and so that then becomes a factor that a lot of people don't want to hear. They don't want to talk about. We as Bahamians, and I hope they don't come for me next, Dwight, but we as Bahamians, we feel very entitled in our country, right? Because I have this, I'm Bahamian, I should automatically have access to X, Y, and Z, right? But in this competitive market now, where every dollar counts for business owners, productivity, attitude, the way you deal with their customers, the level of trust, all that becomes a factor, and that has absolutely nothing to do with qualifications.
Wow.
So I just want to make that clear, right? Because when people go on the website, they see what the paper or the bullet point qualifications are, and they say, okay, I got that. I got 3 years experience. I have a high school diploma. I have a certification in this. Man, look here. My minister, man, the government joking, but everybody joking. They want them foreigners. A lot of times it's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah, wow.
People want their business to be successful, and they want to be able to make money
absolutely.
because they've invested a lot, they've risked a lot, they've mortgaged a lot, and they have to make money to make it all make sense. And they want the right people. And sometimes, I'm telling you, a Bahamian versus somebody else, it may boil down to other factors, not just qualifications.
Okay, so many things to talk about here. So we want to narrow down
Dwight,
to training.
sorry,
Mhm.
can you say why they're coming for you in the comments?
So it's about begin. So this is. All right, so let's get that out of the way. So this is what you were saying. Parents in denial, Laverne, that their kids might have a disability, and people say, "Well, until you have kids, you'll never understand," and all this stuff. Nah, that's not it. That's not it at all. I've experienced this personally with some relatives, and I'm telling you now, the denial thing. This person says here, though, you forgot that there are two educational systems in the Bahamas, the public and the private schools. The students get lousy because there isn't any curriculum in the government. That's not fair. And it's not true. There are some excellent,
that's not true.
excellent students.
I'm saying that because I'm a product of both public and private education.
They're amazing, top-notch students
That's not true. There are institutions, there are public institutions that are doing as much as they can with the tools that they've been given and tools they beg, borrow, to provide a strong system.
And
their kids are failing.
In general, though, I'm telling you, that's a challenge area for our country. And it's not unique to the Bahamas. A lot of developing countries have this issue with their educational product nowhere being aligned with what the work market of today requires for high performance. So even
and that's true. But that
I'm not blaming. I'm just saying that's a reality that we have to contend with as well.
And it's two different issues.
There's a lot of ways that individuals can supplement a government
absolutely
education. Even a private education, sometimes that's not even sufficient depending on which area you're going.
Exactly. Right? So that's what I was going to say, because there are people failing in private school. There are people failing in private school.
You have to take it upon yourself, right?
Parents have to play a role. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. But Dwight, parents have to play a role. But again, you remember you're talking about folks who a lot of times they didn't plan to have kids. They're not operating well in their co-parenting or marriage or partnership arrangement with the other person. They're struggling. They themselves are struggling too. They may not have been responsibly raised. And I'm not passing the buck, by the way, Dwight. I'm just saying this is the reality of what we're dealing with in this country and many other countries where you have a lot of folks who are not, they're not the most proficient parents, right? So it's easy for us to say, boy, it's the parents. The parents got to put their kids on the track and trajectory. They got to make sure they're prepared for today's market. That's very easy to say, but if you're struggling, Dwight, to keep your head up,
if you're not prepared for today's market
and keep the lights on, you don't have time for those other things to worry about in life because you're still struggling with the basics. And there's a lot of parents, a lot of single mothers, a lot of single fathers who are struggling with just keeping food on the table, a roof over the head, and the lights on, Dwight. They simply have not reached the point where they can focus on that aspect. But again, it will always come down to personal responsibility. Those individuals themselves as well, it has to reach a point where they need to realize, boy, it's on me now. Nobody come in to save me. I have to go out there. I have to seek. There's a lot of, I can tell you this, there's a lot of government programs that provide some solid certifications, some solid training, solid certifications for little to no cost. And also some of them provide job placements at the end of it. But the individual has to be motivated enough to go and seek that path and say, okay, I don't just want a job at Atlantis and that's my career because my auntie do that and she doing that good and she got a house and X, Y, and Z, right? They have to see that they have to chart their own course. But it's not easy, Dwight. I mean, if that is your dream, there's nothing wrong with that. Be the best hotelier you could possibly be. If that is the fit. A lot of times our dreams are misaligned. Our dreams are misaligned. Right? A lot of people want to be, a millionaire, but they don't even have work ethic to hold on a regular job. I'm just saying, so it has to be aligned and with reality as well, and your actual capabilities, right? So it's a lot to this conversation. It's not as simple as there's jobs on a website. There's Bahamians.
And go and
Why
apply.
can't all the Bahamians fill those jobs? It's not that simple.
Okay, so listen to this text in that vein. So this person said about the jobseekers.bahamas.gov.bs. Just looked on the site, but you need to log in to view the exact jobs. How many people are computer literate? I see now that irritates me there, because I guarantee you that these same folks are posting TikToks, are recording emails, and are doing all these things that the rest of us would be like, how did you do that? But that comes natural to them. How do you get the priorities realigned? You are amazing at these things on social media, but yet you're going to claim that you couldn't figure out how to do this application form on
So
this
Dwight,
site.
I'm going to tell you, right? See, and again, it's a big one. This is a 30, 40-year plan as well, by the way. If you let's look at countries that are really, really successful, right? Like, your New Zealand, the Singapores, the Japans, the Finlands that are doing really, really well in this world on their own, right? It boils down to the quality and the offering of their public education system, Dwight, right? Parents can't do it all. They will never be in the position to do it all, right? Or to have the majority of that weight on them for pushing their children in a particular direction as it relates to basic education. That is one of our fundamental challenges in this country. We're using the exact same model that we did, Dwight, when our parents were in school. Not when we were in school, Dwight. When our parents were in school, the same basic model we are trying to push, and it's outdated. So that would be a major thrust forward if we were able to take a step back and really reevaluate our public education system and curriculum. A lot of the private schools subscribe to public schools, right? If we take a step back, take a page out of different countries, see how we can then blend that into what we do and who we are as a people, and relaunch a modern educational curriculum, Dwight, that's really preparing our kids for what the world looks like today and what it's going to look like 10, 20 years from now. It's a big one. It's a big one. But I'm telling you, until we turn that corner, we're going to be having this conversation for a very long time to come. Every single successful country in the world has done it. There was a point where they invested heavily into their educational system, the qualifications of their teachers, the pay of their teachers, the type of studying that they do, the way they capture all children, regardless of their background, their challenges, whatever it may be, right? I'm just telling you, this is one of our major downfalls, and it absolutely impacts the work arena and the job market. Absolutely.
Wow. Let's take some calls really quickly, and then we got to take a break, and we'll pick this up after the break for news. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Yes, good morning. Interesting topic. I said some time ago that, you have folks who just ain't book smart. They hands-on, and they do pretty good at it. I mean, they do need some level of reading and writing, but some people get so clever that, they could get the work done, make money, and get other people to do the paperwork for them. So I'm just saying,
All right, so everyone's been saying that, but that doesn't seem to be the issue that, at least the labor the department is saying, right? They're saying that they can't find people for anything, whether it requires skills or whatever. That Bahamians are just not qualified for many of the jobs on the market, and we're trying to figure out what's really going on here. The parents are telling you, well, you're not doing very well, you better pick up a trade. They've been telling people that for decades, but it seems that a lot of the folks who are being told that aren't even trying to do that.
Well, Dwight, let me just say, and I know we have to go to a break, to say to a child, you or whomever, you're not doing very well academically, so you need to pick up a trade. Herein lies the problem. A trade should not be a fallback. Okay, you're not doing well academically, so go to trade, because at the very minimum, you need to have the basic math, English comprehension skills. But a trade should just be something that I see that you are good in this area. Whether you are a high flyer, top of the class, or you are struggling. You are good in this area, so let's expose you to this, and this is where you excel. And so now there is dignity, because if we continue to word this as the fallback because you're not very well in school, then who's going to want to go into that area if I've already labeled this area as the area for people who don't do well, who aren't as bright? Who's really going to want? How is that even an incentive, an enticement for me to look into that area when I label it that way, when we
I totally
say
agree
it that
with
way?
you. It should not be. It should absolutely. And if somebody's packaging that way, I'm very disappointed. We need those. We need those services. Those services, those trades. The world could not exist without those trades, right? So it's important that we also raise them up just as much as we do with the professionals that we love to worship, the lawyers, the doctors, and the X, Y's, and Z's, right?
Yep.
We need them all to work to have a functional, successful society.
You need that passion
one
to
should
be
not
there.
be more valued than the other.
That passion needs to be there. This text was saying, yes, can you imagine someone who fell back on construction, building your home, right? That is not a good scenario, I'm sure. All jobs require investment, skills, training, and continued development. Yep, and some passion, definitely. One more call, and we got to go.
And exposure.
Yes.
Exposure. We need to expose our young people, our kids, to all of the different possibilities that's out there, the careers, the things that they can go into and how they can make money, so that now their mind begins to think differently.
Absolutely. One call quickly before we go to the news break. Good morning, you're on the air. Hi, good morning, you're on the air live. Hi, good morning, are you there? Let's take that with it's to tied up our lines. Hi, caller, good morning, you're live on the air.
Good morning. I think that we have failed our children dreadfully as a nation. We should take example from a country like Finland that knows that it's small and that went to great extent to make sure that their population was well educated. If we have all these communities that are coming in, that are being built, all these people coming in, even teachers, doctors, in 52 years, we should have been able to have people of the highest quality, whatever. And now you want to realize that we no longer have an artisanal population. And the artisanal population is the salt of the earth. That's Jesus the carpenter. These are the people that build countries, that sustain countries, that make it possible for us to have jobs and come home to a roof over our head. And we have looked down. If you're not going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, for some reason, decided that those were the only jobs that the children should have, and we got it all wrong. Okay? We live with people around us. We don't understand them. We need to stop being monolingual. Our children need to become bilingual, trilingual, so that they can compete and get the jobs that they should get in this country that are going to foreigners, whether they're from Europe, whether they're from wherever they're from. We just keep letting these jobs slip away from our children because of our stupid attitude about what work means.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. This is the rub, right? So we should do that. Lots of people are doing that, exposing their children to this. But are we saying that this is what we do in the Bahamas? That we need to do that for everybody? And that's an interesting concept and discussion that we need to have. Okay, let's take a break for the news. We'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Work hard. Watch this. 'Cause if you're not working, you gotta be loafing. And if you're not loafing, then brother, you gotta be joking. You must work. I don't lie. And don't be a jerk.
Don't shop at Sherwin Williams then. Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers. We love ourselves. Yes, real talk. I'm not just saying this Real talk. to impress myself. We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I gonna get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams, Bahamas, and you'll surely find color in every day.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is up to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Cozy up to Autumn Delights. Fantastic fall sale, September 22nd to 29th. Harvest the best deals on this season's latest designs with 20% off store-wide. Buy big and save big on all tile, thin set grout, mosaics, trims, and more. Don't delay. Prices are falling and autumn deals are calling at Nassau Tile. Call 322-2100 or visit our showroom on Dodswell Street to make your fantastic fall dream space a reality.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Solution for rising gas prices and expensive car maintenance has landed. Brand new 2026 electric vehicles from BYD have arrived at Easy Car Sales. Imagine no more gas and major savings on maintenance. Test drive a BYD EV today and save thousands with the car that redefines driving. Visit easy242.com for our 3 locations and more. Easy Car Sales, the only authorized BYD dealer and warranty provider in the Bahamas.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. Friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a day single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Tings Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations excluding the airport and food truck.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, September 25th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner Hayes, 9:25:25. Do something special today. We continue with our Better You series. Certified life coach Farrell Goff is with us. We are talking. See, this is what you got to do, right, Farrell? You got to pivot. We had something planned, but we saw what was happening with the show, and we took it in a different direction. We're talking about training and qualifications and work ethics in regards to the joblessness report from earlier that we talked about yesterday. This is from the first quarter of the year. And the labor minister saying it isn't reflecting what's really happening, but there are concerns about underqualified or unqualified Bahamians who are in the job market. So we're talking about all that this morning and having a very spirited conversation. Laverne sent me a message. You want to? I think you should say this on the air. This is very important, very interesting, based on what that some of the callers have been saying so far. You want to say that?
Before I say yes, I want to say the conversation because we have many conversations. I'm just kidding. I know what we're talking about. Our conversations are really good. I was just saying to you, can you imagine a country, what kind of country we'd have? It was mandatory for every student to have a trade before they left high school. So expose them to all trades from 6th grade. And then by 10th grade or even junior high, they have to make a selection as part of their core set of classes.
But, okay, so
gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever.
All right, so you see,
know how to wire a home.
This is a real challenge because Farrell and I went to the same school. Farrell and I went to the same school, and this is what happened to us. Yes, it was a private school, but this is happening in our country. This is happening. Now, I don't know what's going on in the public schools, and I believe this was going on with them as well. So are we trying to say that something has changed? You remember this, Farrell. In grade 7, we had to do woodworking, and we had to do home economics. We had to do needlework. We had to do all these things. They used to do metalwork before we got to high school, but somebody got injured or something, we're told. You remember this? Okay. Farrell, are you there still? Is he muted?
No, it doesn't look like he's muted.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so we were doing this. Every year we had. Yeah, we can hear you now. Every year we had to make something in woodwork shop. You remember that? We had to.
Okay, good.
And I don't understand.
Yeah,
this was the way it was done. And I don't believe it was just the private schools.
So 2 things. For junior high, I was at a private school. Right.
Yeah, and then you could see if you liked it. Right? You got to experience everything. Well, I actually like this. I think I can make a career out of this.
So yeah, that was just the introduction. It wasn't necessarily a drive in a particular direction or not, right? But what Laverne is saying, what Laverne is mentioning is that's just a part of how a revamped educational system can look, right? I mean, we hear a lot of your callers in Texas, they mention bits and pieces of what a really, really solid, comprehensive, new educational curriculum, national educational curriculum could look like, right? And Laverne that's a part of it. That is absolutely a part of it, right? And it's what progressive countries are doing in countries that are well run as a nation, right? But there's so much more, Laverne. That's just one aspect of it, right?
I guarantee you this is still happening. This is happening.
Well,
you got a bigger problem. You've got a bigger problem here.
Let me just say that I can't say that it's still happening, but I was at a private school. I started off at a public school. I got a scholarship. So my junior high years were in a private institution, and that you didn't get that kind of exposure. I got exposure to French and to Spanish and make my selection there, but we didn't get that kind of. Fast forward then to high school, I went back into the public school system. And at that point, 10th grade is when you made your selection of which area you wanted to go into. And what happened, and I'm just sharing my experience, was the high flyers were almost convinced to go into certain areas.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And I think that's the problem. And this is definitely the way it was when we were in junior high. No one's telling you how in demand you will be as a carpenter or an electrician or whatever, any of those things.
Right, go try find an electrician or plumber.
Exactly.
All them busy.
All of them, and you have to like.
It's a very, very
book them weeks ahead.
And
I'm not sure what happened to your internet going on with you. Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing.
Even in terms of Dwight, even in terms of going back in the conversation when you were talking about how sometimes they struggle to fill out these application forms because they aren't computer literate, but these are the same people who are on these different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, like technology should be at the core of everything that you're doing so that you're comfortable, even if you're not familiar with my particular platform, you're comfortable enough with technology that if you have to go and complete this application online or you have to do this or that, you're comfortable enough because you've been exposed to this. This has been integrated into a part of the curriculum that you can, once you point it in the right direction, find your way.
Yeah.
So it's all of these things that help to build a very robust and great curriculum and to help to further prepare our children so that when they leave high school, they are, as we say, more employable.
Yeah.
They have the skills or exposure to it.
Yeah.
Well, in this day and age, guys, no child should leave an educational program without being computer literate, right? So
right.
I think it's all private schools probably do a good job at that, right? The government schools are a child.
Okay, Farrell, I think you're going to have to maybe.
Where's the money coming from to have these sophisticated modern computers?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a computer literacy issue, literacy, and so you don't know
it's
how.
all of it.
Well, you don't know how to fill out the form. It takes you. I've told the story before. I went to. I can't remember what it was, but I had to fill out a form, and it took me maybe 45 seconds, and the receptionist was like, "Whoa, wow, you're done already? Oh my gosh, this takes people like an hour and a half sometimes." Like, wow, I'm like, what? So we've got problems. We've got real problems. Farrell, I'm not sure if you're sorted out, but something's going on there.
To the form thing, and I'm not making excuses. It takes me long to fill out forms, and it's not a comprehension problem.
Is it an
I just
eyesight
do not
issue?
like to fill out forms.
Oh, okay.
And so my problem is I'm questioning everything that they're asking me.
Okay. All right. Let's get a lot of calls coming in, and we've got a lot of your text messages. Let me read this before we get to the calls. This person says here, as business owners and leaders, we're facing a growing challenge in the Bahamas. Our parents and grandparents embraced hard work with pride daily, consistently, reliability, and the drive to build something lasting. That work ethic was for us. Unfortunately, among many Bahamians today, there is a different mindset. Too often we encounter a sense of entitlement towards work, a resistance to showing up every day, giving consistent effort, and committing to long-term growth. This isn't universal, but it's significant enough that it limits how much any company can truly scale in this country. The reality.
Why?
Well, it says the reality that many companies are frustrated. They want to invest, expand, and create opportunities, but are now forced to look outside of the local labor pool to find people willing to do the daily work required. That shift has long-term consequences. Fewer opportunities for Bahamians, greater reliance on foreign labor, and slower national growth. We need an honest conversation about work ethic, discipline, and the role we each play in ensuring our country remains competitive. Growth doesn't happen without consistent effort, and no amount of opportunity can replace commitment to hard work and accountability.
My question, though, is why?
Why did we have the shift?
And I'm going with it. No, why did we have the shift? Because I'm going back to what the text just said. Our parents, our grandparents, they had those kinds of ethics, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what they're saying. Now we see it isn't the same. But who raised these people that we're seeing now? Did they raise themselves?
Wow. Yeah.
Because the kind of work ethic that you have, that I have, that our grandparents had, that was modeled to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, it was modeled to us. So we aren't seeing it. There's been a shift. Did they all come together collectively and decide we're just shifting? Or what was modeled to them, taught to them, and then, of course, over time, more and more they see it, that now it's changed. That's all I'm asking.
Interesting. All right. So, when you were talking about not understanding that you could make so much money as an electrician or be in such high demand, I'm thinking, I don't know if we do it here as much. I see it with a lot of preschools, but, at least in the movies and on TV, the career day is a big thing well into junior high, where people come, the parents of the students will come and tell people about their job. And I think if we had more of that, not just for preschoolers and grade 1, but for junior high kids to see and understand what's happening and what you do. Like, I never would have thought of that.
Exposure.
That's back to the exposure thing. That would go a long way into transforming minds and mindsets around here, I suspect.
Yeah, exposure. And let's change the conversation about these. Like when I was in high school, literally, no shade to BTVI. But when I was in high school and even coming up out of high school, it was like, oh, you struggle with the basics of math and English. You struggle with this, so you better see if you could go to BTVI. What? When we frame it like that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
So Dwight, Laverne, I think my connection should be a bit better.
There you go. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is this. I'm just letting you guys know. I don't think that we're going to see anytime soon in many places around the world where if you interview 6th graders and ask what they want to be in life, I don't think many of them are going to say electricians and plumbers or whatever. Right. So I get you. What you guys are talking about. While it is important that there is a path that's in place for persons who may want to go down that path or may not have success in other paths. There's paths there, and it's not vilified, right? It's not seen as a second. I think that's the important part of having those trades, that there is a path for that to be viable for persons to pursue as they transition into adulthood. BTBI is a good example of that, right? It's there for that reason. But we need a bit more of that, right? But you still need the will. You still need the will for people to want to follow that path, right?
Farrell, I think it's only going to be like that unless you start calling it things like electrical engineer, and then people will say it's the electrical engineer. But if you say electrician,
no.
perhaps.
But my point is, you don't have to glorify. It doesn't have to be glorified.
Oh yeah.
People No. What I'm saying, no. It doesn't have to be. That's very, 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 very idealistic in my mind, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like, the entire world glorifies, like, CEO and internet entrepreneur and this sort of stuff, right? And that's not going to, astronaut and a pilot, that's not going to change, okay? And we're not, but I'm saying what we do need to change is the general basic qualifications of our general population or individual citizen of the country, because you can, just because BTVI is there, that still doesn't mean that everybody who walks in there are qualified to and have the acumen to make it through that program and then provide reliable, safe, and professional service when they leave there.
Yeah.
So that's still a challenge.
Interesting.
That's the big challenge. It's not whether we glorify electricians or not. It's do we have citizens that are capable to become qualified professional electricians, because even that industry is challenged. Let's call a spade a spade.
Very true.
A lot of electricians out there, you could run through 3 or 4 before you find a good one, Dwight.
Wow. Disturbing. Yeah, let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm calling you back again. I'm not going to be long. The lady asked, how did we shift from being a society where people had work ethics? Well, it was simple. We were a living society. Down the street was a boat builder. I watched my grandmother farm or cut the chicken's head. So this is how life works. And then we create an artificial, stupid society on the principle that the more money you make, the better a person you are. In which book did we read that? And what religion are we following? And why do we think there's a difference between a lawyer and a good farmer? Where did we get this criteria from? Children are born with qualities. You cannot tell a child who is physical or intellectual that they have to do carpentry in order to become a human being. It is absolutely ridiculous. Each child comes in, and when we were in school before, that's where the teachers recognize talent, it's called. Talent for this, talent for that, whatever it was. Okay? And it was encouraged because we had members in the society that were living normal, healthy lives. A society has to focus on well-being of its citizens. All these people walking the streets, more of them on the streets. The children see these ugly images, garbage piled up here, adults throwing things over there. And I can answer the lady's question about why the shift. Have a look at the consequences of any country whose first economy is mass tourism. It breaks down traditions. It takes people away from the jobs like farming and carpentry and all those kinds of things, and it turns them mostly into hustling for a buck. Okay, so it's a very destructive industry if it is the only industry.
Yeah.
There, I worked for a company. They were looking for Bahamians that could speak languages, Mandarin, Spanish, Italian. Children at the age from age 1 to age 11 absorb languages naturally. If we're going to catch up with all the foreigners in our country, then we need to start letting children do what they do well, and that is learn languages. You take 3-year-olds of different languages and you put them together and they will speak these languages. Okay? It is shameful to say that a child comes out of school, what kind of a nation are we building? Because if the more of them there are, the lower we sink. And it doesn't matter how big your house is. It is a shameful thing to look out at a wasteland. Again, take example from Finland. There are no schools for the rich and schools for the poor. There are excellent schools so that the rich don't have to pay and the poor don't have to strive. The country is well educated. Take examples from living examples. Thank you.
You're preaching. We need to get your contact. Boy.
Yeah, Dwight, also too to the caller's point, though, and to Laverne, when did the shift happen? So sometimes shifts are organic, right? Societies, cultures, countries, they evolve, and we have evolved. The model that our grandparents fell under, where it was just hard work and grit and 12-hour days out in the fields or whatever it may be, that has changed, right? Then our parents, right? They came in and you had a good job and you worked 40 years, dead hard, dedicated, you followed the rules, you didn't question. That has now changed, right? With us, we're now in between, right? And then our kids, the next generation, they're gonna mash that right up. It's the hybrid working, the remote working, the I can get rich by taking pictures and that sort of stuff. So what is basic work ethic and work and requirements, that also shifts as well. Now with AI and technology, right? That is going to change. So what are the valuable qualifications and attributes that we would need a well-rounded citizen to have to make themselves very attractive, very employable, and provide a level? And our leaders and decision makers, they have to bake that into a curriculum. I'm telling you, that's where we're at, right?
Yeah,
we're outdated. We are outdated. Like the caller said, Finland has a national educational program, not a niche
educational program, a national one that every citizen is exposed to. That's what we're lacking. We're going to come back to that time and time again. We can blame politicians, parents, individuals, literacy, whatever it is, but it's that baseline. They go through 12 years of mandatory national education. Every single citizen, whether it's private or public, you have to go through 12 years of that system. That's 12 years. Coming out of that, Dwight, we should be rocking and rolling, man.
Absolutely.
Not having this conversation after graduation.
Right. Wow. Okay, let's take these calls. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi, are you there? Hi, good morning.
Pleasant good morning, Dwight, Laverne, and Mr. Goff. How's it going, man?
Going well.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. While I think some of Sarah's points are valid and some things we should discuss, comes to, I do know how many Bahamians are globally. I'm talking civil engineers, doctors of education, doctors of medicine, contributing to so many other countries' development because there's nothing here for them to come back to.
Wow.
Because our government allow organizations, for example, to post prerequisites for jobs, give them to people that are unqualified. Bahamians do their work and then get frustrated. What type of an attitude do you expect for an individual to have when they know that they're being used and their options may be limited in their country and they want to contribute to nation building? I don't think it's clear cut, and we should just grab one brush and say that these are what our issues are. And I'm not saying that's what's being suggested, but we need to approach this from a realistic standpoint as well. Many of our kids aren't even coming back home. Why? That's something I think we should also look at as well.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. All right, one more call. We've got a whole lot of text messages to get to. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Hi, you're live on the air.
Hey, gracious, Dwight, how you doing?
Doing well.
Right, man. Hey, two things, right? One, we have a spoiled society. That's what one thing was actually contributing to our education level. The reason why you need a job is three reasons: shelter, food, and water, right? Most people in the Bahamas live inside their parents' house, and they have children in their parents' house, so they don't have to pay no bills.
Most?
So that's how come people ain't really checking like that no more, because why get an education if you already have a house? Second thing, right, the attitude levels, jobs, right? It's just that we have a bad attitudes on the job. Generally, most people have the capabilities to do anything they want to do on the job. It's just that the attitudes is a bad contribution to it.
This is, again, most.
I want to make a note very quickly of, right? The government sector is actually changing the concept of not getting qualifications, because nowadays on the government job, they now, you have to have qualifications now to hold certain positions, which will actually force people to getting an education. Or else you will actually be stagnant in one position forever. You'll be a general service worker, which means that on the job, you could actually get sent outside, you could clean the toilet bowl, you could do anything that people say on the job for 10 years straight and be stagnant without getting a raise. So the government is actually changing that, whereas to force people to getting higher education. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. I don't know if it's most with a lot of the things you said, but certainly a lot, not most though. But okay. Wow. I mean, and Laverne, I think part of the change is back to what we had talked about much earlier in the show about you were saying that many of us were told you stay even if things are terrible, but you stay and you stick with it. But I know definitely during our time, and I think this is what Farrell was saying, that people were like, nah, I'm not going to do this for 40 years and get a rinky-dinky watch at the end of it.
And you know what, Dwight, let me say that's fine, right? And so we are evolving, but there are certain core things, you know, your commitment, your level of commitment, your ability to keep your word. If you say you're going to do something, and that's in whatever field you are in today.
We're talking about integrity, Laverne. And those are key qualities that are still very, very valuable, and they will continue to be valuable.
Right. So again, and every generation seems to want to outdo the one before. So while people would work at a crummy job until they find something better a few years back, now, as we said earlier, the younger ones just, I'm not even waiting. I'm just going to walk off. And then you have to question the work ethics. And
Well, it's not a matter of, and I don't want, a lot of times millennials get a bad rap, right? But millennials, they have the wherewithal, Dwight, to have boundaries and to have standards, and that applies across the board, right? I'm not saying this is generally all of them, but a lot of them, right? So it's just certain things they won't stand for, and they just simply don't have the same value system, excuse me, that we did, right? Where we got a mortgage early, we had kids early, so we had to. You had to deal with a lot of stuff to make sure that you got paid at the middle and the end of every, right? So you had to take a lot that you probably shouldn't have taken. But millennials are setting their lives up differently. They're not, it's that they just simply, that's not a necessary goal to them to get rich quick or to have kids or have a big fat mortgage at 25. So they have the flexibility to say, hey, boss man, I've already told you I don't want to be treated like that. I have options.
Yeah.
So
mental health, right?
I'm
Protecting your mental health.
Be careful. Let's not beat them with one big stick, right? That is all bad for millennials. I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go home and be a jerk because of your crummy workspace. So I get it. I get it.
Sure.
I get it.
And again, I'm not talking about. I don't want us to think that I'm saying, stick it out, endure, especially under adverse conditions. And if you're someplace and this work environment is toxic, if this work environment is whatever, and you have the freedom to be able to walk away without having employment, and that's okay. And to still be unemployed while you continue to actively seek, look fine. But it goes back to, like Farrell said, there's integrity. There's certain work ethics that you need to have, regardless of the profession, regardless of you're supposed to be working from home, that you put in the time that you're supposed to put in. Those kinds of things. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those ethics that should still be at the core of whatever it is you are doing.
Yeah, Laverne, that's instilled in the educational system. That's instilled in the home. That's instilled in the culture, right? When you talk about like baked in integrity, that's
right.
That's
so
something
that's why I'm saying
attained.
Right. Where did the shift happen that's no longer built in, or that we don't see that is really being built in, as you hear employees continue to lament and complain about the quality of the employees that they are now seeing.
Yeah, around the time sayings like YOLO and you got to keep it real became popular, I suspect. That's around that same time. All right, some text messages here. This person says, there are more crackhead games. Well, with respect, the narrative that Bahamians are either unqualified or cannot fit into a company's culture too often becomes a convenient shield for circumventing our labor and immigration laws. When firms create unrealistic prerequisites that place opportunities out of reach, that culture does not supersede the rule of law. Empirical evidence from those on the ground shows that many positions now filled by work permit holders at exorbitant salaries are competently performed by Bahamians. Singapore's success illustrates not only labor discipline, but the accountability of public officials, which fuels societal trust. Bahamians are entitled to nation-building jobs they are qualified for, not sidelined while companies wheel and deal in ways that undermine our culture and future. Wow.
That's a great text. Use a text like that's a great text, right? It's almost like a catch-all. It speaks to so many things, right? And this, particularly integrity, right? But I do believe that we do need. I was listening earlier that we need a proper tracking system for when there is a legitimate skills gap, and companies are allowed to bring in a foreigner to fill a role. I think there's like a 2-3 year mentorship that's supposed to take place, right? Within, I think, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, within that system, so that person, there's a glide path for that foreigner to fill a role for the company, as well as cross-train a Bahamian with the eventual objective of them leaving within a certain time frame. I think that's really important, right? I don't know if we have, if our systems are robust enough in this country to be able to successfully carry that out consistently. But I think that's super important. We cannot leave it up to the discretion of the company to say, okay, we now going to go look for a Bahamian,
Wow.
right? Because we know that's going to end 9 times out of 10.
My goodness. This texture says here, yes, Dwight, exposure to trades for students in the government was afforded in the past. I experienced it at S.E. McPherson and A.F. Adderley Sr. The trades offered to both schools have ceased today. We sure? Schools struggle with trade teachers, equipment, materials, desks, and chairs. Oh, boy. That's very sad. This person says here, let's be realistic. Our country only recognizes doctors, lawyers, parents, too, are very influential in what careers their children pursue. To answer Laverne's question, what's changed? The answer is bad parenting. We had children having children, so they can't be models. They can't be role models either, I guess is saying.
But I'm just saying, if I can just respond to that, let's also say then that the children having children, those children, weren't they somebody's children from when it was better or whatever?
But then you're
so
like,
it goes back to it?
Well, by that point, well, maybe not. But by Grammy, don't listen to Grammy. She's old. Hey, I'm your cool mom or dad. So do like what I'm doing. Perhaps, maybe that. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, but guys, but parenting itself has evolved as well, right? Again, parenting principles. You have the basic ones, right? Good manners, that sort of clean up behind yourself, that sort of stuff. But even parenting has changed. The needs of parenting, the skill set that's required now to be a responsible, healthy, modern parent. Believe it or not, I know some people rolling their eyes right now and say that's the problem with people. We need to go back to the old days and da-da-da. That has changed. No. It has evolved. It has evolved, right? So, and it's something that we need to recognize. A lot of things that we do, and the principles that we have, some of them are legitimately outdated, right? Collectively. And that's something that we have to look at as well as we now try to compete in this modern world where you have foreigners that are well ahead of us in certain areas, just by virtue of the country they came from and what they're doing in that country, right? So we now have to compete. We can't exist in a bubble and just say I'm Bahamian, and because I have a Bahamian passport, I'm entitled to X, Y, and Z. We have to make sure actually skilled up, and after going through that 12 years and existing in this country for 18 years, that they can go out on the international market and compete as well. Yeah. That's a tall order. But you have a lot of countries doing it. China is pumping them out. India is pumping them out. You have countries that's part of their manifesto, right?
Yeah, indeed.
They're creating some top-notch global citizens. Are we thinking about that? Or are we just thinking about creating some good Bahamian citizens? That's something we have to put on the radar, Dwight.
I don't even know if we're thinking about that part. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, so we're running out of time. Let me read these messages really quickly. This person says here, I second what Farrell said, and also what Laverne is saying. Despite me having multiple degrees and working in an office environment over the years, I have become so tired of folks talking down to trade jobs or careers. These jobs or careers are extremely vital to our everyday existence. Plus, the majority of them within 5 to 10 years earn or command more money than folks in offices, even with the big degrees. How many times has Leonard Sands repeatedly told you all and the wider public tradesmen faster than many folks in offices, even folks with multiple degrees? You once had 2 former ministers of education, both PLP and F&M lawyers, that jealously stated this. The majority of my relatives with degrees are either broke and or struggling, while the majority of my tradesman family are rather wealthy or at least well off. Wow, okay. Tell the kids. This person says here, it's like artists. When you're starving, anything is better than nothing. But if you are trying to succeed and be successful like your boss, sometimes it's almost impossible because they are not training you to be a boss. They're training you to be a slave, or to be asleep and be a slave. So therefore, the foreigners take advantage, then turn around and leave with the experience. Okay. And when we have these conversations about work ethics and the struggle, we need to have them with people who are actually out there in the workforce and understand the struggle. We're all in the workforce, aren't we? Struggling to, where did it go? Struggling to, and I can say how hard it is to stay on a job that is not paying them when they should, when they're abusing their workers. You and your guests might not know too much about these things. Rich people don't understand poor people's speak it. The rich people don't understand poor people's poor people's problems. In other words, when you know these people personally, they're not living the life that we are living in the Bahamas, that live a life of luxury. So it's easy to point fingers at everyone else. Okay, I hear you. The brain drain is such a tragedy. I have 3 professionals who will probably never come back home and contribute to our country. They are tired. They wanted to, but unqualified people put ahead of all our young professionals, or put ahead of all our young professionals in the country. One of mine wanted to bring us into updated forensic science 12 years ago, but could not get in the door. Now we recently heard the announcement that they're pushing for a forensic lab and personnel to work in it. Well, yeah. I met a grandmother last week who was 33. She's looking after her 2 grands, so that's also a big part of the problem. You heard that, Laverne? Wow.
Wow. So Dwight, on that note, I would say, and it's something we could probably have a whole show about, right, and bring experts in. Unplanned pregnancies is literally one of the major challenges of developing countries, including the Bahamas. Unplanned pregnancies. These things happen. People's lives get turned upside down. They become very limited in what they're able to do, and also their lives get very, very demanding in terms of how much money they have to produce, their responsibilities, and they're not ready. They're just simply, they don't have the skill set ready to bring another human being responsibly into this world, right, and into adulthood. So just putting a note there, unplanned pregnancy.
Unplanned is subjective, right? Unprepared, maybe, because I don't know. Some of these, I think
I would say both probably.
Because I don't know if that many are unplanned, but okay. But yes, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Absolutely, that would set you back far. That would definitely set you back far.
Family planning is a big part of our young adults' trajectory.
Yeah. A final text here. Trade classes in secondary schools are elective. These types of classes aren't mandatory, and schools are struggling to cover the cost to pay for these courses and find instructors. Yeah, you were saying earlier, though, that you took them and then you had to decide. Right. So everything's an elective except for English and math. But you got exposure. But I get the points that people are making.
I think we got exposure as just a trade. Like, hey, here's this thing that exists in life. Let's go do it. Let's do sewing. Let's do cooking. Let's do woodworking. But it wasn't. Again, I don't remember it being like instilled in us as a possible career.
No, not at all. I don't
remember it being driven like that.
No, it wasn't. Definitely not. That would have definitely upset several apple carts if it were like that at that school. But okay, so we have a lot of work to do, folks. A lot of work to do. Thank you, Farrell Goff, professional life coach, for being here with us for this. And we hope people are listening as we seek to help all of us find the better you in each and every one of us. All right, so the conversation about the part 2 of the Blueprint for Change, we're going to pick that up at some other point. We got just a bit more of that to do, and we'll get to that in the next few days. Laverne Gardner, thank you. Thank you for being here. Pleasure. And I think we're going to be talking to you very soon.
I think so.
Yes, okay, so we look forward to that. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and a Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio. Everybody pick up today's Nassau Guardian. A whole lot in there for you, including Laverne. You need to see this. This is very interesting. In the Guardian Business section, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce president says that there's been a 90% drop in foot traffic since Celebration Key's opening. Foot traffic for businesses in Grand Bahama. That's pretty scary. Pretty scary there. He says there's nothing happening at the harbor for tour operators. And another story about the government looking at legislation to control rent prices. And Morton employees fearing the sale to Lusca may lead to a loss of insurance coverage. So great stories in today's Guardian Business section. This portion of the show brought to you by Seafowl, growing wealth for future generations. Again, we're back tomorrow morning. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Young or old, everybody must work. Don't leave your chicks, give me the good time.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
It's your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
This October, Bahama invites you to indulge your senses at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Daniel Boulud, Marcus Samuelson, Dario Cicchini, and Simeon Hall Jr., alongside a vibrant lineup of Bahamian chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. And don't miss an electrifying live performance by global superstar Lenny Kravitz, headlining the festival's welcome party on Friday, October 24th, with a concert experience you won't forget. This is more than a festival, it's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center. Bahamar, life spectacular. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.